You got him four abreast, often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Dre Broadcasting Network as we go hand in hand with the PRL. The Precision Racing League presents the Phantom Zone designs at Atlanta Motor Speedway for round number 2 of the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series, brought to you by Gen X Racing. Check them out at genxracing.com. I am a commentator, Sean Zulu. I am joined by my good friend and producer, Dave Everly. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great, Sean. How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I am doing good too, thank you. Just ready to get rolling back here with the PRL after having an amazing race last week at Daytona International Speedway. So a lot of drivers will be wanting to get to redeem themselves here at Atlanta after having quite a race last week at Daytona International. But Dave, tell us a little bit about tonight's race, please, weather-wise.
Well, Sean, as you said, we are here at Atlanta Motor Speedway for the American iRacing Sunday Series, sponsored by Gen X Racing and the Precision Racing League. Looking at tonight's weather, we got 83 degrees out, but the track temperature is 91 degrees. The wind northwest out of the northwest at 5 miles an hour. Partly cloudy conditions out here. Good racing weather here at Atlanta.
Absolutely, and also the drivers are accompanied by a 60% fuel limit. That is 60%. So that gives us at least 2 to 3 required pit stops that need to be made in order for the drivers to be successful here tonight for the full length of the race, 125 laps. That is 125 and a 60% fuel limit. Just a little bit of recap from last week's race. Support for D. LaBeouf at Daytona International Speedway. We had Stephen Aguiar bring it home. Jason Ashby came out second. Sammy Holmes third. Cody Knapmiller fourth. John LaBeouf came out fifth. Colton Lane sixth. Markel Murphy 7th, Chris Perez 8th, David Dreckman 9th, and Steven Mattox did round up the top 10. And in that race, we had Steven Johnston, who took the pole and led us to our first green flag of the evening. And Dale Robertson was able to get around Steven Johnston on lap number 2, giving us our first lead change of the night. And contact up front between Mike Taylor and Poddy Johnson did cause a chain reaction. and a pileup, which gave us our first caution of the night. And a few incidents in the beginning of the race, it did end a lot of drivers' nights early. So tonight we're going to see a lot of drivers trying to redeem themselves because they took quite a hit for the first race of the season. But the season is still young, so there's still a little bit of room for error, but not too much room. So they still need to get the job done regardless. And we did see a lot of heavy battling, different packs formed after green flag pit stops, which did bring into play or bring into action a lot of different strategies. And a 4-lap shootout at the very end of the race did bring it down to the top 4 finishers, Stephen Aguiar, Jason Ashby, Sammy Holmes, and Cody Nattmiller, 1st through 4th, respectively. But it was an amazing race, amazing first race of the season at Daytona International. Well, moving on to our current point standings. So far, we have Stephen Aguiar leading in points, Jason Ashby 2nd in points, Cody Nattmiller 3rd, Sammy Holmes 4th, John LaBath 5th in points, Colton Lane 6th, Chris Perez 7th, Markel Murphy 8th, David Dreckman 9th, and Steven Mattox is currently rounding up the top 10 in the point standings. Well, moving on to tonight's race. So far, the drivers are still qualifying, and our post hitter is the 42 of Cody Nattmiller. And ladies and gentlemen, tonight's race is entitled the Phantom Zone Designs, sponsored by Phantom Zone Designs. Check them out at phantomzonedesigns.com. Just a little bit of information about Phantom Zone Designs. They do sell pre-made, creatively designed paints at low prices that can be customized by having them add your logo at non additional cost. To learn more about it, just visit phantomzonedesigns.com. And they are doing a special thing here tonight, a special treat for the drivers here at the Precision Racing League tonight. The driver who leads the most laps will be getting a free custom paint scheme or a free custom design. And for more information about that, please visit phantomzonedesigns.com. So Dave, tonight is going to be paying extra to lead a lot of laps.
Yeah, most definitely. But looks like qualifying is over, so we're going to be getting ready to go into griddy now, Sean.
Yep, we will give the drivers a few seconds before we go down the list. And Mike Taylor in the chat, good to see you there, Mike. I'm sorry to remind you about your bad first race last week, but look forward to seeing you on the track here tonight, buddy. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the chat, let us know you're alive. Let us know who you're rooting for. Cheer these drivers on. We have a star-studded field, so it can be anybody's race here tonight at Atlanta Motor Speedway. We're going to see a lot of side-by-side with these open setups, which bring out a lot more competition because the drivers do have the opportunity to set up these machines to the best of their ability, or I should say to their liking, their comfort or driving styles. Well, going over the current starting positions, we have the 42 of Cody Nattmiller once again on the pole, the 43 of Steven Johnston starting second, the 22 of Christian Swenson starting third. So we have 3 drivers with the Gen X Racing team starting 1 through 3rd. 1 of James O'Brien, defending champion, last season's champion, starting 4th. We have 33 of David Dreckman, 5th. The 37 of Dustin Hall, 6th. The 45 of Eddie Hawk, starting 7th. The 8 of Stephen Aguiar, 8th. The 16 of Johnny Pierce, 9th. The 28 of Brandon Massey, 10th. 5 of Jason Ashby, 11th. The 60 of Colton Lane, 12th. The 6 of Stephen Mattox, 13th. The 19 of Matthew York, 14th. The 911 John LaBath, 15th. The 14 of Paul D. Johnson, 16th. The 54 of Lance Marsh, 17th. 24 of Corey Blevins, 18th. The 25 of Mark Gurdy, starting in 19th. And 21 of Trevor White in the 20th place position. 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne, starting 21st. The 23 of Craig Hawkins, 22nd. 95 of Jeffrey Ford, 23rd. 55 Karsten Quint, 24th. A13 Mike Taylor, 25th. Danny Duchesne, 26th. Dale Robertson, 27th, being the last driver qualifying. 48 Markel Murphy, Sammy Holmes, Austin Moore, Adam Chapman, Chris Perez. We have Abbas Ladak Ron McManus and Derek Pemberton will round up the rest of the field here tonight, and that gives us that is tonight's starting order. But going back up front, we are now rolling, being led by once again 42 of Cody Natmiller, post sitter, pace speed 65 miles an hour for 125 laps. Let's get it done. And we see Doug Hagen back in the chat. Good to see there, Doug, rooting on the 22 of Swenson again. That's the 22 of Christian Swenson. Well, ladies and gentlemen, get your popcorn ready. It will be quite the ride of a lifetime. So many battles to come. And a little bit of time to do it. 125 laps. Some green flag pit stops need to kick in. So it's going to be interesting to see exactly what happens as soon as those green flag pit stops kick in here. Exiting turn 4 this time by pace car dips off. Cody still holding pace speed. 22 of Christian still holding pace speed as well. Green flag, let's put it on the floor. 42 of Cody Natmiller already on the gas pedal. He does catch the drivers up. The one of Brian gets behind the 43 of Steven Johnson, who goes back down to the inside to be behind his teammate 42 of Cody Natmiller. And the one of James Brown trying to occupy the outside of the 22 of Christian Swenson. And we are now green here at lap number 1 of the Phantom Zone Designs race. The 33 of David Dreckman being overtaken already by 45 of Eddie Hawks. At the same time, the 16 of Johnny Pierce. He will stay high, let the drivers by. He goes from 5th place to about 7th place here in 1 lap.
Yeah, this place here, though, it's a fun track here. It's a fast track here, looking at their times and their speeds. You know, they're hitting over 190 mile an hour before coming in these turns.
Absolutely. With all that speed comes a lot of tire wear, because they will be scrubbing those tires a lot. And these drivers, you do have to be very careful, because things do go from good to bad and bad to good in a hurry. And so far, David Dreckman, having a Sunday drive, electing to go to the back of the pack. He is staying high. The slowest way, or I should say the longest way around the racing surface. At the same time, he's losing a lot of time because of it. But so far, doesn't seem to be bothered by it. The 6 of Steve Matthews gets around in the 60 of Cotton Lane. The 5 of Jason Ashby battling side by side. The 5 of Ashby and the 60 of Cotton Lane side by side for position number 9.
Yeah, just the second race of the season. These drivers know it, but man, they are putting on a heck of a show. They had a good outing last week at Daytona. We're at Atlanta, so these drivers want to get that win. Unlike regular NASCAR, though, here at Precision Racing League, they don't have a chase series, so it's all based off points throughout the season.
Yeah, that is extra motivation for the drivers to bring their A game in every single race to try and have the most points possible. Because once again, without that chase, it's all about the points at this point. So once again, a 12 race season. And this is race number 210 races remaining, so they're not even close to halfway yet. A little bit of room for error, but that shouldn't mean they should be caught sleeping. And we have a battle between 45 of Eddie Hawks and the 37 of Dustin Hall side by side for position number 6. The 45 of Eddie Hawks does let the 37 of Dustin Hall by, and no harm done.
Yeah, still early in the race, only coming on to lap 6 here, so we still got 120 laps to go. But I'm expecting to see. I think a fuel mileage might try to play an effect here tonight.
Yeah, fuel mileage is on the table a little bit, just at the same time. I mean, same as it was last week towards the very end of the race at Daytona International Speedway. We noticed the top 3 drivers, Stephen Aguiar, Jason Ashby, and Sammy Holmes, were going to run out of gas if the caution had not come out. But luckily for them, the caution did end up coming out, which did mean they were able to make it without having to pit in any more times. So that definitely did work in their favor. And right now here tonight, it's going to be interesting to see exactly what these drivers, Dave, have in store for us in terms of fuel strategies. And they will be trying to pit in as a team as well.
Yeah, most definitely so. But right now we got 2 teammates, Cody Napper-Miller and Steven Johnston out front. But however, they're in 3rd place. The one of James O'Brien, last season's champion. He is right there. Christian Swenson there in 4th. He's got the 16 of Johnny Pierce right there behind him, rounding out your top 5.
And for the back in the pack, Dave, side by side between the 19 of Matthew York and the 14 of Paul D. Johnson. Johnson makes the pass successfully against the 19 of Matthew York. And Johnson has already gained some rear end damage, a little bit of a dent in the rear end of the 14 machine, but still going nice and strong regardless. Right behind the 5 of Jason Ashman up front. We have a little bit of a battle going on in front of the 911 of LaBeouf. Actually, it's the 911 of LaBeouf and the 6 of Steven Mattox side by side.
Oh, it looked like they almost had to take the 45 there. Eddie Hawks 3 wide, backed off, thought better of it. Here comes the 24 of Corey Blevins as he's getting around the 6 of Maddox, and he's to the inside there of Eddie Hawks here coming through the turn.
And Dave, so far, it seems like everybody prefers to be on the inside line. The outside line has not yet come into play. So if you stay on the outside line this early on in the race, you will lose a lot of time. You will go from front to back in a hurry, using an example of the 37 of Dustin Hall. He was able to go back down to the inside and gain all his spots back. But once again, if you stay on the outside, you will go from front to back in a hurry. So the outside line has not come into play just yet, but the later the run goes, the more it will come to life, and we'll see a lot of drivers switching from the bottom lane to the high sideline to set themselves up for the long run.
Yeah, they're going to have to keep an eye on their tires. I mean, this is just about take a look here. It's a 1.5 mile track, so it's got some pretty good banking. So tire wear is going to be key here as we see the 24 of Corey Blevins get around the 911 of John LaBeouf. So they're going to have to keep an eye on those tires here. They're doing a pretty good job here right now, just kind of riding.
Absolutely. And speaking of 24 Blevins, Corey Blevins, he did have a very, very rough start to last week's race at Daytona, which did cost him a lot of positions, a lot of points early on. So tonight he has brought his A game, being shown 9th, going from 18th place to 9th place in only a matter of 12 laps. And his next victim is the 60 of Cotton Lane for position number 8. So he is very hungry. He is determined to get the job done, and with that kind of determination, anything is possible. And knowing Corey Blevins, he does have just that much determination. So we should expect to see him up front here in no time. Speaking of up front, the 42 of Cody Miller and the 43 of Steven Johnston are still first and second, about 1.9 seconds ahead of a third place driver 1 of James O'Brien. Dave for the back in the box 27 of Danny Duchesne, runner being challenged by the 4 of Sammy Holmes. So far, they are riding single file up to the 4 of Sammy Holmes. Seems to trying to be poking his nose into the inside of the 27 of Duchesne, but Duchesne is running the defensive line to try and keep him behind him for the longest time possible. But so far, they just might be trying to set each other up for the long run, because once that long run comes in, we have long run drivers and short run drivers, and the short run drivers will end up suffering if this thing goes green. But the long-run drivers will prosper. They will propel past the short-run drivers, and we see a 4 of Sammy Holmes gets around the 27 of Danny Duchesne for position number 20.
Yeah, right there above him, though, we have a battle between Eddie Hawks and Lance Marsh. Lance Marsh is going to get around him. That is going to move him up into the 18th position. A little further back here, the 813 of Mike Taylor looking to the inside of Danny Duchesne, trying to take away that position. But Danny Duchesne's doing a good job of trying to hold him off.
And look at that, Dave, the beast from last season, 48, Markel Murphy, last season's rookie, this season's veteran. Right behind that, 813 of Mike Taylor, 48, Markel is trying his best to pick a good lane, or to try and pick a lane that seems to be faster. And so far, having a Sunday drive, trying to decide, he can't decide just yet, but he is trying to figure out a way to set both drivers up, 813 Mike Taylor and 27 of Duchesne up. But so far, having no luck. Right behind him, he's down to 55 of Karsten Quint. Karsten on the same boat as a 48 of Markel Murphy, trying to get around both the 27 of Duchesne and the 813 of Mike Taylor, while bringing in the 33 of David Dreckman. David Dreckman actually was the one I was trying to talk about early on, not 33 of Dustin Hall. Dreckman is now back in the mix. He went from 5th place to 25th place. Due to staying on the outside line early on, but now is in a battle between the 55 of Carson Quinn, 27 of Duchesne, 48 Markel Murphy, and 813 of Mike Taylor. Some 3 wide up front on the exit of 2.
Yeah, they're pushing it hard here on lap 17. I figure probably within the next probably about 15 laps we may start seeing some green flag pit stops. So we'll have to wait and see what the pit window is here. But they are still running 3 wide here, coming out of turn number 4. These guys they're trying to make up as many positions as they can, as quickly as they can.
Absolutely trying to take advantage of the new tires, but at this point having 18 laps on their tires. I'm not sure how bad the tire wear is, but Dave, the pace seems to be still pretty good. So the tire wear is not that bad having 18 laps on their tires this far, because they are still battling. Usually when the tires go out, you see a lot more single file than you do double file. So the tire wear is not too bad, and that definitely is working very well with the drivers here tonight. 95 of Jeffrey Ford for the back in the pack as well. Behind the 96 of Adam Chapman. Behind Ford is the 27 of Danny Duchesne, going back down to single file. 19 laps on their tires this far.
Well, going back up front here, Sean, it looks like Cody Knapmiller, he is putting some laps down here, as he has already lapped the 28 machine of Brandon Massey, but he has pulled out to about a 1.9 second lead over second place. That is going to be the 43 of Steven Johnston. But Steven Johnston right behind him has the 22 of Christian Swanson, and then James O'Brien's right there as well. Same with Johnny Pierce. So looks like we're having a pretty good battle. I think these drivers, they're still new to running each other, as we got a lot of new drivers for season 7. So they're just still filling out and getting a feel for everybody.
Oh, absolutely. And Dave, speaking of the top 3 drivers, the Gen X Racing team, they are rocking some very great-looking superhero paint schemes, courtesy of Phantom Design. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested in some custom paint schemes, check them out at phantomzonedesigns.com. And you will not be disappointed. So far, running very well together. And 42 of Cody Knapmiller definitely has increased that lead to 2.2 seconds ahead of his teammates, Steven Johnson and Christian Swenson. So it's in a matter of time. Oh, I actually see some smoke on the track. I'm not sure exactly what happened. Was some smoke on the backstretch. Trying to find a machine that might have been had a piece of the action before last March. Most likely was the victim.
Well, we're going to pull up the Dre Broadcasting Instant Replay here, see if we can see what happened to the 54 of Lance Marsh. I am going to be rewinding it here and see what we can see. Right there, look, coming through the turn, he's just running down there. Oh, got into the outside wall, got him loose and hard into the inside wall, blowing his motor. Now, unfortunately, here at the Precision Racing League, these guys do not have quick fixes, so his pit crew is down there working out, trying to get that motor fixed to get him back out on the track.
Absolutely, very, very sad indeed for Lance Marsh. He has actually retired for the night, so unfortunately he won't be coming back, finishing the race here tonight, unfortunately, but we look forward to seeing him back with everybody else next week at Martinsville Speedway. Holy cow! That will be quite the track to race. It will be a lot of side-by-side, so much rubbing and racing. It will be amazing, so be sure to be there next week at Martinsville Speedway for some amazing side-by-side and rubbing and racing. And we should expect to see a lot of damaged machines due to all that contact being made from all the hard racing going on. And so far, the leader has 25 laps on his tires. It's only a matter of time before we start seeing some green flag pit stops. My guess would be pit stops. We should expect some pit stops in between laps number 25 through 30. No, actually, maybe 25 through 35.
Yeah, we're going to find out. Mile-and-a-half track, but it's a fast track here. Looking down at our pit times, we're still running in the 30 to 31 second lap times. Our leader there, Cody Knapmiller, is still putting down some of the fastest lap times out there, but tell you what, taking a look here, the 43 of Steven Johnston, he has actually got the fastest lap on the track right now. The only one I can see in the 29.1s, he ran at 29.197 as his fastest lap right now.
Congratulations to the 43 of Steven Johnson. That was a job well done, not a well job done, but a job well done by Steven Johnston. And Dave, 42 of Cody Knapmiller just keeps putting down or putting more machines a lap down. Just got around the 78 of Ron McManus. So that's 2 machines down and a lot more to go. And all these guys are very determined to stay ahead of Cody Knapmiller to avoid going a lap down. And Dave, that's the thing about a track like this, these speeds are very, very fast. And the track is a very fast track itself, which means if you ride for too long, you will go a lap down in no time.
Yeah, most definitely. Taking a look there in the chat, gotta agree with John Marine out there in our Dre Broadcasting chat. He said this track is known as Hot Atlanta. That's right. This track is known for some hot temperatures, also some hot tempers that sometimes occur out here on a track like this.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Amazing track indeed. And now today for the back of the pack. Oh, actually, good to see that Gone Fishing TV as well. And John Marina, I apologize if I didn't say hello to you. And Abbas Ladak. And Dave for the back in the box 25 of Mark Gurdy, right behind 21 of Trevor White, pulling on the 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne. They are pretty much riding single file in the field at this point. Dave is very, very spread out. And so far, let's see, the driver who's furthest back from the leader is 27, Danny Duchesne, who will be vulnerable to going a lap down if he doesn't pick up the pace. He is being shown 28 seconds behind the leaders. And at this, I mean, Danny Duchesne is an amazing driver, and he's just pretty much saving tires at this point, and will be pouncing here later on. We saw him up there not too long ago. It looks like he maybe might have burned up his stuff, or maybe just backed down to set himself up for the long run. But either way, he might be going a lap down if he does not pick up the pace. And up front in front of him, we do have a battle going between the 45 of Eddie Hawks and 95 of Jeffrey Ford.
Yeah, Jeffrey Ford riding right there, but they got to be careful because there's the 81 of Derek Pemberton. He's back there as well. Another fast driver, another good driver here. So we got a three-way battle. They're only a few inches apart here. As the 95 of Jeffrey Ford thought about looking to the outside, but here comes the 81. Derek Pemberton, he is going to get to the inside. Eddie Hawks is headed down pit road.
Yep, Dave, pit road is now becoming a busy place lap after lap. Stephen Mattox down pit road, Carlton Lane, Matthew York, Pody Johnson, Eddie Hawks and Chris Perez, including the leaders up there, Stephen Johnston and James O'Brien, pitting in this time by Dustin Hall, Corey Blevins with 31 laps on their tires. So it's only a matter of time before the leader comes down pit road. Nothing for him to lose because he has quite the lead against everybody. 42, Cody Nat Miller is still going nice and strong in second place. Driver 22 of Christian Swenson is being shown 3 seconds behind him. 42 of Nat Miller backing it down this time by pitting in.
Yep, looks like his teammate there also is going to come down with him, Kristen Swanson, as they're making their way down on pit road. So we are seeing our first round of green flag pit stop. These drivers right now 33 laps on their tires.
Yep, the question is who will decide to stay out the longest on their tires. That could be a good thing, that could be a bad thing, but we're going to see exactly who it is and how exactly it affects them. If it affects them, it can affect them either one of two ways, negatively or positively. Hopefully in this case, positively. And that passes the race lead over to the 16 of Joni Pierce, pitting in this time by. And since he pits in, it's going to pass it down to the 8 of Steven Aguiar. Yep, Aguiar staying out this time by taking over the race lead as we speak.
Yep, so we got a little bit of fuel strategy going here. We've seen that our current pole sitter of Nat Miller already down, him and his teammates with Gen X Racing. But we got some guys trying to stretch the fuel mileage, which is sometimes, I mean, we saw it today in the actual Monster Energy Cup race. You know, Martin Truex Jr., it was all fuel mileage. He came away with the win today at the Watkins Glen.
Absolutely, just goes to show how important those pit stops are. And if you can save gas, then go for it. And the 8 of Aguirre down pit road. Dave passing the race it over to the 5 of Jason Ashby this time by. And Jason is going to be taken by the 1 of James O'Brien. James O'Brien gets his lap back the hard way as we spoke.
Yeah, most definitely there. So Jason Ashby now down on pit road. Craig Hawkins is going to be the next in line to take the lead. Is he going to stay out? Is he going to come down? Here comes the 6 of Stephen Maddox. He is getting around the 23 of Craig Hawkins. Craig Hawkins is going to stay out and lead this lap here, coming across the start-finish line.
Yep, and so far only 3 drivers left to pit in. Craig Hawkins, now down to 2, Craig Hawkins and Jeffrey Ford left. The only 2 drivers still needing to pit in, and Danny Duchesne going down pit road this time by with 35 laps on his tires. Craig Hawkins, Jeffrey Ford with 36 laps on their tires. So something tells me, Dave, the final time to pit in is most likely lap 40. And Craig Hawkins right now is battling some heavy traffic, traffic that has already pitted in. He does stay high to let them by because he is on older tires and they are newer tires, so they will be way faster. They do have way more grip. And no harm done there, but the longer he stays out, most likely the more time he's going to lose in reality. We're going to see exactly how this plays out. Jeffrey Ford right behind him, so 5 seconds behind him here. And the previous leader, 42 of Nat Miller, is now 10 seconds behind the two drivers.
Yeah, they are putting down some blistering speeds there. Looking at Nat Miller, he is currently running third. James O'Brien, fourth. Steven Johnston running there in fifth. So there's a little bit of gap there between teammates as James O'Brien now coming under fire from the 43 of Steven Johnston, trying to take away that number 3 position. He is going to get it. James O'Brien thinking about maybe a crossover. Nope, he is just going to ride right behind him.
Yep, and Dave, our last two drivers did pit in. That was the 95 of Jeffrey Ford and the 23 of Craig Hawkins, and that finally does cycle out, ladies and gentlemen. Our first round of green flag pit stops. Cody Nat Miller first, James O'Brien being shown second. Actually, scratch that. Being shown Steven Johnston second, James O'Brien third, Johnny Pierce fourth, and Dustin Hall in the 5th place position. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now have 87 laps remaining, so we're going to take our first commercial break of tonight's race. We'll be right back, so stay tuned.
Don't let your first date be your last. Visit People Against Distracted Driving at PADD.org.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Phantom Zone Design, sponsored by PhantomZoneDesigns.com. And once again, a little bit about Phantom Zone Designs. They do sell pre-made, creatively designed paints at low prices that you can customize by having them add your logos at non additional cost. Learn more at PhantomZoneDesigns.com. And Phantom Zone Designs is doing something special here tonight for the driver who leads the most laps at Atlanta Motor Speedway tonight. The driver will be receiving a free custom design. So that's a very, very good bonus for leading some laps here tonight for the driver who will get that bonus. And once again, that's PhantomZoneDesigns.com. If you have any questions, PhantomZoneDesigns.com is your go-to. That's where you can contact them. We're going back to the race. We are still being led by the 42 of Cody Natmiller, Steven Johnston still second, James O'Brien third, Johnny Pierce fourth, and Christian Swenson being shown in the 5th place spot so far, running up the top 5 respectively. And at this point, let's see, top 3 drivers are about... Well, Cody Natmiller is about 3 seconds ahead of a 3rd place and 2nd place driver, Johnston and O'Brien. And they are separated by about, actually now 4/10 of a second. So they are trying their best to work together and catch up to the leader 42 of Cody Natmiller. And Cody Natmiller, Dave, at this point is unstoppable, man. He's proven to us that he's a very fast driver in the long run.
Yeah, he's got some good speed. I mean, he had some good speed last week at Daytona. A little bit of issues, some incidents involved, but still had a really good finish. So he's looks like he's wanting that custom paint from Phantom Zone Designs, because looking here, he has led 45 laps already tonight. Jason Ashby has led 2. Johnny Pierce, Stephen Aguirre, Craig Hawkins all leading 1 lap as well.
Oh, absolutely. Congratulations to the 42 of Cody Natmiller this far. But ladies and gentlemen, the race is still young, so fingers crossed. And Dave, the race continues going at the pace that it's going. All the drivers, Dave, for the back of the pack are going to have no choice but to up their game, because they won't be saved by any cautions. They are really spread. The field is very spread out due to those green flag pit stops we had. And because of the green flag pit stops, we have a lot of drivers being shown a lap down or more. We have Jean-Francois Champagne, Mark Gurdy, David Dreckman, Sammy Holmes, Craig Hawkins, Adam Chapman, Mike A. Taylor, Jeffrey Ford, Brandon Massey, Eddie Hawks, all being shown 1 lap down. Danny Duchesne, 2 laps down. Ron McManus, 2 laps down as well. 41 of Chris Perez and Karsten Quint being shown 3 laps down. And Derek Pemberton is on pit road, calling it a night. Looks like he has sustained some heavy damage on the left side of the machine and is trying to get it fixed. So he is on pit road as we speak, and just continues losing laps, lap after lap, and losing a lot of time as well. Once the pit crew is done with that machine, he will be able to get back out there and put down as many laps as he can before the race is over.
I'm not sure what happened, but I don't see James O'Brien out on the track, so not sure what happened, but I see him dropping there. Looks like maybe some connection issues is plagued him here tonight.
Absolutely, Dave. He is having some connection problems. Very, very unfortunate indeed for James O'Brien. Hopefully he gets them sorted out and gets back out on the track so he can be back on the exact, back at the same pace that he was before, because he was really propelling up there behind 43 of Steven Johnston. The race is still young for him. We have 72 laps remaining on lap number 54. So hopefully he gets that sorted out here pretty quick, but that's very, very unfortunate indeed for James O'Brien. And Dave, the 37 of Dustin Hall, is now back in 5th place, back in the top 5 from 6th position where he started. And right behind him is the 24 of Corey Blevins. Corey Blevins has been on the move ever since the green flag had dropped. He went from 18th place to 9th place in a matter of only 12 laps. And now he's being shown in the 7th place spot right behind the 8 of Stephen Aguirre.
Yeah, he's showing a real good run in here at Atlanta. He's doing a pretty good job. Just in the, as you said, in the laps here, running up in the top 10. But according to my calculations, don't quote me on it, I think these guys are going to have to pit 2 more times to be able to make this race. A lot can happen, especially when you're on older tires and happen to slow down from 180 mile an hour down to pit road speed. So, I mean, a lot can happen there, Sean.
Oh, absolutely, man. It's not over until it's over, and these guys definitely do know that. And they are trying to hit their sweet spots every single lap, and Cody Natmiller still continues to increase his lead. He just went from 3 seconds up to 5 seconds here against the second place driver, 43 of Steven Johnson, but Dave for the back in the pack, the 5 of Jason Ashby so far, right behind the 24 of Corey Blevins. They are in each other's draft range. Just one thing I forgot to mention here at Atlanta is that the draft does play somewhat of a factor when it comes to straightaway speed, and also pretty much just maintaining your speed in the turns. So these drivers can work together, bump drift a little bit, but not as much. You can't really compare this too much to a super speedway like Daytona or Talladega, but that draft definitely does play somewhat of a key factor, so they should take advantage of it the best they can.
Yeah, most definitely. Got to give credit because this league is switching from the fixed setup last year here to the open setup, but with these Gen X guys, with Cody Natmiller, Steven Johnston, and Kristen Swenson, they've got, I'll tell you what, their crew chief there, Nick Rogers, who's out in the chat there under the John 144, he knows how to set these cars up because these guys are really quick here tonight in Atlanta.
Oh, absolutely. Dave had some trouble on the track. The 813 of Mike Taylor was smoking heavily. Oh, man. He did blow his motor. He looks like the wall claimed him, the exit of turn number 2. Same as Lance Marsh, which did cause an incident for him. And as we speak, he is down pit road, getting some service.
Well, we're going to back this up on replay here, see if we can see exactly what happened here. Yeah, just coming out of the turn number 2, just got into that outside wall hard, into the inside wall. Had to lock it up, but he stayed down below the white line, so they are going to keep us green flag racing, but an unfortunate incident there with the 813 of Mike Taylor.
Absolutely. Second victim claimed by the exit of turn number 2, the wall. On the exit of turn number 2, very unfortunate indeed for both Lance Marsh and Mike Taylor. And hopefully Mike's pit crew beats that machine out and fixes that motor up so he can be able to get back out there and put down as many laps as it can. Before the race ends, we have 65 laps remaining this far. The drivers up front, the leader, 42, Cody Miller, now having 29 laps on his tank after pitting in last time with 34 laps on his tank. So here in the next 4 to 5 laps, he should be pitting in. We have one driver pitting in this time, the 22 of Kristen Swenson.
Yeah,
Swenson, oh, go ahead.
Yeah, he's just a little bit here, but here comes the 37 of Dustin Hall. He's coming down on pit road as well. So, actually, we got a lot of traffic down on pit road here. John LaBeouf, Matthew York, Colton Lane, Paulie Johnson, Trevor White, all those down. Chris Perez, Mike Taylor down from that incident. Chris Perez, didn't see what happened to him, but he's down there as well, 4 laps down. So, right now, we've only got 6 cars left out on the lead lap.
Yeah, that's exactly what these green flag pit stops do. They do bring different strategies into consideration, into action. And so far, 16 of Johnny Pierce, Dave is mighty loose. He is sideways on almost the exit of every single turn, turn 2, for the most part. Most likely, those tires are worn out. He has driven the wheels off that machine. And at this point, it's like he's driving on ice. But still going nice and strong. You can see him going sideways. Have some smoke on the track. Oh, big checkup. He almost gets to the back of the machine. That's going to be the 23. No, that's the 33 of David Dreckman. But the green flag still stays out. The 33 of David Dreckman was sideways. If we can, let's please back it up on Dreckman and see what happened.
Well, as we pull up the Dre Broadcasting replay, we are going to take a look here, focusing on the 33 of David Dreckman. Let's see if we can see exactly what happened here. It looks like he was coming. Oh, contact between him and the 6 of Stephen Maddox gets him around, but it looks like he was dirt tracking it. Somebody's got some experience on pavement there, but good job by all of them drivers to be able to keep it going straight and keep us green flag racing here at Atlanta Motor Speedway.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. Sideways, I should say. Dirt 101 by David Dreckman, a save and a half. Quite a wheelman. Dreckman is very nice save and did once again. But going back up front, we have a new leader now because a lot more drivers have pitted in. Johnny Pierce taking over the race, but pitting in this time by. And this will pass the race lead over to the 8 of Steven Aguiar. Nope, scratch that. Aguiar down pit road this time by Jason Ashby next in line to lead. Yes, Jason actually staying out and takes over the race lead this time by on lap 66.
Yeah, so looks like after these pit stops, we're going to have one more. Now, the question is, Sean, Is there a driver? Is there a driver out there that thinks they can make this on 2 pit stops? Is there going to be a driver out there tonight that's going to try to push that fuel mileage? Now, don't know, but we're going to find out here as we're just past the halfway point of tonight's race.
Oh man, very, very good question indeed. But it's very unlikely that they would be able to push it. But if they will be able to push it, or would be able to, then that would narrow it down to Jeffrey Ford or 23 of Craig Hawkins, who were the longest drivers, or who stayed out the longest the last round of pit stops that we had, the first round of green flag pit stops. So we're going to see exactly how it plays out. It's going to count on a fuel mileage, and we have a final driver pitting in, the 23 of Craig Hawkins, down pit road. Actually, we have, 2 more drivers left to pit in? Yep, Jeffrey Ford and the 45 of Eddie Hawks. Eddie Hawks already having 36 laps on his tires, while Jeffrey Ford already only having 30 laps, which is going to be 6 laps less.
Well, also the 27 of Danny DeShane, he's got 31 laps, and the 55 of Karsten Quint, who's got 32 laps. He is currently 1 lap down, so he is going to have to come down in for a green flag pit stop as well.
Yep, these pit stops, and so far a lot of drivers are trying to get their laps back the hard way, because they did end up falling victim. I mean, they might have had some bad pit stops the first round of green flag pit stops, which means that that's originally a lap down. We have a rate of over 10 drivers who went a lap down due to having some problems on pit road, and 5 just naturally runner going sideways off the exit of 2, around 55 of Karsten Quint. And that Karsten Quint is being still shown 2 laps down, still trying to get his laps back the hard way. But at this point, everyone's still motivated to get the job done regardless. Karsten Quint down pit road this time by the second round of green flag pit stops.
Yeah, so, well, we're back to our normal leader here. That is going to be the 42 of Cody Natmiller, leading 61 laps so far here tonight. He has put on a dominant show, looking good in that Captain America car. That is a good-looking paint scheme there. So, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's going to have anything for him.
Yeah, so far it's not looking too good for anybody out there, but his teammate 43 of Steven Johnson still holding it down in second place. And for the back in the pack, Christian Swenson has really dropped back. He is being shown 1 lap down in 16th place and trying his hardest to get his lap back the hard way, the best way he can. And his next victim so far is the 21 of Trevor White, and that is for position number 15, right in front of him. And at this pace, he most likely... Oh, actually, Swenson is side by side with his teammate, the 43 of Steven Johnston.
Yeah, according to Nick Rogers out there, the crew chief for Gen X, it looks like Christian is having some connection problems. It's what got him dropped back a little bit, so hopefully he gets those fixed and we see him make a hard charge here. We are now looking at just 54 laps remaining, so one more pit stop will get these guys. So technically, right about 20 laps. In 20 laps, that pit window is going to open to where they can come in, get their tires, get their fuel, and make it the rest of the way.
Absolutely. We have also a new viewer in the chat rooting on the 22 of Christian Swenson. That will be Chuck Swenson. Good to see you there, buddy. And that 22 of Christian definitely does have a lot of fans out there. And so far, he is still battling his teammate, the 43 of Steven Johnston, who at the moment is having some trouble getting around his teammate 22 of Swenson, who is trying his best to keep him behind him the best he can. But up front, 42 of Cody being shown now 4.9 seconds ahead of Steven Johnson. For the back of the pack as well, 48 of Markel Murphy has made his way up to 6th place, Dave, from 28th. So he has come a long way.
Yes, he has. He had a good run last season, so it's good to see him back out here. I'm actually looking, Sean, we're only down to 11 cars out here on the lead lap. But we are still running about 30 cars strong out on the track here. Actually, make that 28 cars left still running currently right now. So, this will be interesting as we are all coming up here on the final stretch of tonight's race. We are going to go ahead and take another commercial break, give everybody a chance to refill their drinks and refill their snacks. Once again, you are watching the Dre Broadcasting Network as we are bringing you the American iRacing Sunday Series sponsored by Gen X Racing and the Precision Racing League. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Phantom Zone Designs, sponsored by PhantomZoneDesigns.com. And Phantom Zone Designs sells pre-made, creatively designed paints at low prices that you can customize by having them add your logos at no additional cost. For more information, check out PhantomZoneDesigns.com. And tonight, Phantom Zone Designs is offering a free custom design for the person who leads the most laps, the driver who leads the most laps tonight. So that's extra motivation for the drivers to lead as many laps as they can to get that extra, or to get that free custom design. Because those designs definitely do look good. You can see the leader right now is running this exact same design by Phantom Zone Designs. Well, going back to tonight's race, we are still being led by the 42 of Cody Nutmiller, 43 Steven Johnston second, Johnny Pierce third, Steven Aguiar fourth, Corey Blevins fifth, and that rounds up the top 5. And we have, let's see, the drivers on the lead. The leaders have 22 laps on their tanks this far, so that means we have only about 6 to 7 laps before the final pit window opens up.
Yeah, they're doing a great job here. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, taking a look at our race report. We have had no cautions here tonight. 8 lead changes. Cody Nutmiller is our current leader, leading 78 laps here so far with just 39 laps to go. So he is actually mathematically going to be the one to lead the most laps here tonight. And our fastest lap of the night is going to go to the 43 of Steven Johnston with a 29.197.
Yep, Johnston still holding the fastest lap, the fastest lap of the evening this far. And at this point, nobody's. I mean, at this point, I doubt anyone's going to be able to beat that time due to how much rubber is on the racing surface. But the race is still young. 38 laps remaining. One more required pit stop. And we have only 8 drivers left on the lead lap. We have a lot of drivers 1 or more laps down. 6 of Stephen Mattox, Christian Swenson, John LaBeouf, Matthew York, Jeff-Francois Champagne, Sammy Holmes, Trevor White, Colton Lane, Cody Johnson, Craig Hawkins, David Dreckman, and Adam Chapman all being shown 1 lap down. Brandon Massey, Eddie Hawks, Jeffrey Ford being shown 2 laps down. Danny Duchesne 3 laps down. Chris Perez being shown 4 laps down, same as Ron McManus and Karsten Quint. And also 25 of Mark Gurdy here with Flat Out Motorsports for the back in the pack behind 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne. He is being shown 5 laps down, but he is still going nice and strong regardless. He is trying his best to get the job done. And Dave, at this point, a lot of drivers are really hoping for some cautions.
Yeah, but I don't know. I don't think they're going to get one here, Sean. We are now 36 laps to go. We did see drivers go 37 laps. So technically, right now, pit window is open. They would be able to pit right now and possibly make it the rest of the way. Don't think we're going to see any takers this early. Probably see them within the next 10 to 15 laps.
Absolutely. It makes me wonder exactly who will be the first driver to go down pit road for the second round of green flag pit stops we had. The first driver who pitted in was the 43 of Steven Johnston, followed by, that was 16 of Johnny Pierce. So now it makes me wonder exactly who will be the first driver to pit in. And also for the back in the pack, the 5 of Jason Ashby overtaking the 37 of Dustin Hill for position number 7. And that just changed right there. And the 5 of Ashby's next victim is the 24 of Corey Blevins, who is about 1 second ahead of him. And look at that, Dave. Last season's fastest driver in the long run, 48 of Markel Murphy, is still taking some names so far. He is still advancing his positions the best way he can. Oh, have some trouble on the track, entering pit road. See it driving the grass. 60 of Cotton Lane, who had an incident entering pit road. Dave, let's back it up on Cotton Lane and see what happened.
Well, we're going to pull up the Dre Broadcasting Instant Replay here. We are going to focus on the 60 of Colton Lane. See what happened there on his pit entry, because he got into the grass. Looks like he came down, getting down low. Oh, he just was coming in way too hot. Couldn't get on the brakes. So he went right into the grass, unfortunately, there for the 60 of Colton Lane.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate indeed for Colton Lane, because that he will be receiving an unsafe pit entrance because he did miss the pit entrance cone. After locking those tires up, he did lose rotation of the machine. The 14 of Johnson as well almost did the exact same thing Colton Lane did, but I believe Johnson was able to make it down pit road. Yeah, he barely made it, but he did punt that cone. But that was some great driving on both drivers' parts. That definitely could have been worse. But they were able to minimize that. Also, going back to the to the race with Steven Aguiar, Dustin Hall, Corey Blevins, Sammy Holmes, John LaBeouf, Brandon Massey, Chris Perez, and Mark Gurdy all down pit road for their final pit stops of tonight's race.
Yeah, taking a look at our top 4 right now, all need to pit. Cody Knapmiller, Steven Johnston, Johnny Pierce, Christian Swenson. But Christian Swenson is a lap down, but he is going to have to come down on pit road. Also, Jean-Francois Champagne going to have to pit. Also, the 23 of Craig Hawkins also still going to have to pit. And looks like the 33 of David Dreckman there in 7th is also going to have to pit. One more time here, but like I said, these guys can pit and they'll be able to make it the remainder of the race.
Yep, and Adam Chapman. They haven't spoken much of Adam Chapman here, but he is being shown 22nd with a little bit of damage on the rear end of that overtake Toyota Camry. But he is still going nice and strong regardless. He is racing 60 of Carlton Lane for position number 21 because they are both being shown 3 laps down. And Carlton Lane being shown in front of him less than a second actually. I mean less than, 1 second in front of him. So he definitely is in his draft, and that draft will work with Chapman, but against Carlton Lane. So Carlton right now is doing the Q line to try his best to keep Adam Chapman behind him for the longest time possible, but Chapman is definitely catching him. Oh, 60th lane, goes sideways off turn number 2. What a save. That could have been ugly, but because of that, he will lose some time and a lot of speed, and will go from 21st to 22nd.
Yeah, but the thing is, Sean, we're staying green flag racing, as it looks like Cody Knapmiller did come down onto pit road. Steven Johnston did come down on pit road. Johnny Pierce also came down on pit road. That is going to move the 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne up into 2nd, but he has got 32 laps, so he is going to have to come down pit road. Also there in 5th, the 23 of Craig Hawkins. He is going to have to pit as well. He's got 31 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. And Craig Hawkins is one of the drivers who has been electing to run his to put the most laps on his tank before going down pit road. And so far moving up to 5th place from 22nd place, with Jean-Francois being shown in 2nd place behind Cody Knapmiller. And Jean-Francois still needs to pit in while Cody has already pitted in. So the gap in between Knapmiller and Champagne will get nothing but bigger here before too long. And surprisingly, from the last time we've checked here that we've raced the PRL, the outside line always comes to life. But tonight, not so much. Everyone seems to be preferring to ride the inside.
Yeah, I'm taking a look here. Looks like the 16 of Johnny Pierce is going to get around the 13 of Jean-Francois Champagne. Also a slower car, the 55 of Carson Quint. Oh, Jean-Francois Champagne running that low line. He is going to hold up the 43 of Steven Johnston, who is trying to get up there and get around Johnny Pierce and get into that 2nd position. Now Johnny Pierce is showing 1.3 seconds ahead of him, so he has got to make up some ground here as these laps are ticking down. We are only 26 laps to go.
And Johnston did end up getting to the back of the 55 of Carson Quint after Carson Quint in front of him smacked the wall, lost all his speed, all his momentum, and Johnston couldn't slow down in time to avoid that and get a piece of him. And because of that, Johnson now has some heavy frying damage on that Ford Mustang, but still going nice and strong despite that. And being shown 11 seconds behind the leader 42 of Cody Knapmiller, 13 of Jean-Francois down pit road this time by Cody Knapmiller, Johnny Pierce, Steven Johnston, Markel Murphy, and Corey Blevins 1 through 5th, respectively.
Yeah, good job there to 24 of Corey Blevins. He started there in 18th position, is running in the top 5 as he is trying to track down the 48 of Markel Murphy. He is about 1.7 seconds. He's actually gaining on Markel. As I'm taking a look here at the lap times, it's now down to 1.6, 1.5. So Corey Blevins is a man on a mission here. He's not just happy with 5th place.
Oh no, he isn't. So far he's right behind the 4 of Sammy Holmes, but no harm there. Sammy is being shown 1 lap down. Looks like Corey Blevins is rocking that middle to low lane on the exit of 2. He does get a slingshot, but the 4 of Sammy Holmes did get a better exit, and that gap will stay a little bit consistent so far. And so far he is, let's see, 1.7 seconds behind his next victim for position number 4, the 48 of Markel Murphy. At the same time, Murphy is trying his best to catch his next victim for position number 43 of Steven Johnston.
Yeah, but I tell you, he's about 5.7 seconds behind Steven Johnston. However, Steven Johnston is actually now starting to gain on Johnny Pierce. It is now only a 0.6 of a second behind him, trying to get back up into that second position. Meanwhile, Cody Netmiller, man out front, he is just dominating here tonight. He is about 8 seconds ahead of Johnny Pierce, now leading 95 laps. So, Sean, I don't think anybody's going to have anything for that 42 of Netmiller here at Atlanta Motor Speedway. He has got this track dialed in, and he is just out there showing what he can do.
Yep, definitely not looking too good for the competition out there against 42 of Cody Netmiller. And Dave, we have some more drivers pitting in this time by 27 of Danny Duchesne going in for his final pit stop of the night. We have one more driver still left to pit in. It's the 95 of Jeffrey Ford, now having 30 laps on his tires, being shown 3 laps down. So here before too long, he should be going down pit road before he runs out of gas, because he won't be able to make it. Because the most we saw drivers go on a tank was 37 laps, and that was Ford himself and Craig Hawkins during the first round of green flag pits. So at this point, Jeff Ford is really hoping, he's desperately in need of a caution. But if the caution does not come out, he's out of luck.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, if the caution comes out, I don't know if it's really going to help Jeffrey Ford, because I'll tell you, he is currently 2 laps down. But I know one person right now, maybe 2 here, especially one, is going to be the 8 of Steven Aguiar. He is the first car a lap down, sitting there in a spot. If the caution was to come out and he was not involved in it, he would get the lucky dog and back on the lead lap. However, I don't see the leaders pitting if we do get a caution, unless they get some damage, which means all these other cars, Christian Swenson, Stephen Maddox, Matthew York, Sammy Holmes, Trevor White, Jean-Francois Champagne, John LaBeouf, Craig Hawkins, they're not going to be able to get the waiver round around the pace car.
Yeah, most definitely. Yeah. So that caution is good for some, but not so good for others. But fingers crossed and see exactly what happens at this pace. Not looking too good for the competition. Just like we talked about with Cody Netmiller. And we have Jeffrey Ford, the last driver, pitting in this time by. And that cycles out finally the final round of green flag pit stops. 18 laps remain. Now 17 laps remaining this time by. And for the back in the pack, the 6 of Steven Mattox is trying to catch up to his next victim in line, the 22 of Christian Swenson. And right behind Mattox is the 60 of Cotton Lane, single file. And David Dreckman right now behind the 45 of Eddie Hawks. And Dreckman so far, his machine has seen better days, but he is trying his best. He's using different race lines, going from middle to high, middle down to low lane, just pretty much trying different lines with every single lap to try and see which line works best, to try and increase his momentum, his speed, his lap times, and get around these drives the best he can. His next victim for position number 18 is the 60 of Cotton Lane. Then after that, it will be the 96 of Adam Chapman. And unfortunately, we have lost one more driver, 95 of Jeffrey Ford, retiring early for tonight. Unfortunately, he had some bad luck on pit road by the looks of it, and has chose to just park it behind the wall. But we will look forward to seeing him back and everybody else next week at Martinsville Speedway. Absolutely, John. It is go time at this point. If you haven't gone, it is way too late. And we have Jason Ashby, Dustin Hall being shown 1 second apart from each other, both on the lead lap. The last 2 drivers on the lead lap, and they are trying their best to catch up to each other. And at the same time, 5 of Ashby is catching Dustin Hall, because that drop, it keeps pulling him in with every single lap. That's bad news for Dustin Hall, but good news for Jason Ashby.
Yeah, most definitely. So right now, only 7 cars left on the lead lap. So, like John said, it's go time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have had no cautions here tonight, so I don't want to jinx it. But we are now down to 13 laps to go. If we get a caution with 4 to go, that is going to freeze the field in the race. So, but I don't think we're going to get a caution. These drivers are putting on a great show out here tonight.
Yep, does not look like it, Dave. Not looking too promising with the way the field is spread out. We have so many lone drivers out there. Most of them so far are just trying their best to stay on the lap they are on, because Cody Miller has been on a roll all night long, and they are trying to avoid going a lap down. So far, only 7 drivers on the lead lap with a field of 33 drivers starting tonight's race. That is not good numbers. Very rough night for some drivers who had some bad pit stops or just not good enough pit strategies. But look forward to seeing them back again next week at Martinsville Speedway for the Smash Erama 200 by Austin Moore. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we now have 12 laps left in here in tonight's race. We're going to take a short commercial break. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
iRacing, you wanted the best, you got them for abreast. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the World of Outlaws.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Phantom Zone Designs, brought to you by PhantomZoneDesigns.com. Phantom Zone Designs sells pre-made, creatively designed paints at low prices that you can customize by having them add your logos at no additional cost. To learn more, check them out at PhantomDesigns.com. And tonight, Phantom Designs is offering a free custom design to the driver who leads the most laps, and they will be receiving a free custom design. So if you guys would like to get a custom paint, just check out PhantomDesigns.com. Well, going back to tonight's race, we are still being led by Cody Miller, Johnny Pierce second, Steven Johnston third, Markel Murphy fourth, and Corey Blevins in the 5th place spot so far, rounding up the top 5. And we still have 7 drivers on the lead lap, with now a new driver being the first driver a lap down, the 22 of Christian Swenson, taking it away from the 8 of Steven Aguiar. So if a caution were to come out, Christian would be the driver eligible for the Lucky Dog. But there we have, let's see, 5 more laps left. So at this point, if a caution does come out, the race will end under caution.
Yeah, so, ladies and gentlemen, it's the checkered flag or to the hauler with your steering wheel. Got to bring it. I mean, now's the time to do it. But I don't know. Cody Miller out to a 12.2 second lead over the 16 of Johnny Pierce. 2.5 seconds back from Johnny Pierce is Steven Johnston. And then Markel Murphy there in 4th. Corey Blevins running in 5th. But he has got Dustin Hall right there in 6th, just about 1.8 seconds behind him. And then Jason Ashby just another 9/10 right behind that.
Absolutely, and we have so many battles throughout the whole entire track. Drivers not only battling to, not only drivers in the lead lap are battling, but drivers also a lap down or more are still battling amongst themselves. Like we have Jean-Francois Champagne, Trevor White, John LeBath, Colton Lade, Adam Chapman, and also that's going to be the 14 of Paddy Johnson. These drivers are being shown 2 laps down. They are still battling as heavily as they can amongst themselves for 14th place. We also have Craig Hawkins, Sammy Holmes, Matthew York, Stephen Aguiar, Stephen Mattox, and Christian Swenson as well battling. They are a lap down, battling for 8th place. Further down this list, we have Brandon Massey, Eddie Hawks, Danny Duchesne, David Dreckman, Chris Perez, and also Karsten Quint as well, battling amongst themselves. And also going a little bit further back in the pack, we have a 60 of Cotton Lane so far, right behind the 55 of Karsten Quint. And Karsten Quint is right behind some drivers who are very close to each other. That will be 27 of Danny Duchesne and the 45 of Eddie Hawks, nose to tail, right next to each other.
Well, Sean, we are now down. Oh, we have the white flag out now. 1 to go here at Atlanta. Looks like Cody Knapmiller is going to come away with the checkered flag here tonight. No challenge there for first place as he comes out of turn number 2. Meanwhile, Johnny Pierce, he is going to come out in second. Steve Johnson is going to come away with third unless something drastic happens, but I don't see it happening with the talent and the caliber of drivers they have here in the Precision Racing League.
Yep, Knapmiller across the start-finish line and brings the checkered flag home. First win, second race, 16. Johnny Pierce comes out second. Steven Johnson exiting turn number 4 comes out third. Markel Murphy exiting turn 4 as well comes out fourth. And Corey Blevins run out entering turn 3, exiting turn 4 this time by. And that will round up the top 5. Cody Knapmiller, Johnny Pierce, Steven Johnston, Markel Murphy, and Corey Blevins 1st through 5th, respectively. Holy cow, Dave, what a race. 0 cautions and a whole lot of battling.
Yeah, great race. Great job by all the drivers. It was just a wonderful race here at Atlanta.
And ladies and gentlemen, we will be interviewing the top 3 drivers, Cody Knapmiller, Johnny Pierce, and Steven Johnston. Well, Cody, the camera is all yours, so please, buddy, blind us. Blind us. We are being joined by tonight's race winner, 16 of Johnny Pierce, second place driver, and Steven Johnston's third place driver, the podium. Also tonight's race winner, the 42 of Cody Knapmiller, representing Gen X Racing Team. You go up there, Knapmiller?
Yes, sir. Got you loud and clear.
How you doing tonight? How you doing tonight, buddy?
That was awesome race. That was a lot of fun. Had a fast car. The 42 was real fast, short run, long run. And, you know, tip my hat to all the guys in the league for keeping it clean, keeping it caution free. That you don't get a dominant performance like that unless you keep it clean and keep it green.
Oh, absolutely. And Cody, as soon as the green flag had flown, you were nowhere to be seen. You were gone, and your lead kept increasing with every single lap before the green flag pit stops kicked in. The first one specifically, we noticed you were about 3 to 4 seconds ahead of your teammate, the 43 of Steven Johnson. After that, your lead just kept increasing and increasing. What was your secret to saving tires so well?
Honestly, just didn't push the car real hard in the first 5-10 laps of the runs. I needed a car that was going to be there at lap 30 of the run, so I just didn't push hard. Kept a good pace, but was watching my lap times, staying as consistent as I could, watching wheel input, don't burn up that right front. Started pretty loose, to start these runs, so that's what helped me have a balanced car in the end there.
Oh, 10-4, very glad to hear that. And we are very happy for your success here tonight, Cody. After finishing the 4th place spot last week at Daytona, bumping it 3 spots higher tonight, finishing in 1st place, having your first win after for your 2nd race of the season. Very, very impressive. We also have your crew chief in the chat, John, who was reading you guys on. So it was very, very nice seeing you guys propel here tonight. Well, by next week, we'll be racing at Martinsville Speed. What should we expect to see from you and your team at Martinsville?
I expect to be real fast there. It's one of my favorite tracks, and Gen X Racing, Nick Rogers helps us with setups as well, and really this setup was awesome, and I know we'll come next week and we'll have even a better setup at Martinsville, and I hope my teammates can be up there with me. They got a little bit of issues there, but the 43, he ended up with 3rd place, but like I said, I tip my hat to all Gen X guys. I thank them for the opportunity to race for them. Thank Purell for the race. Phantom Zone Racing, it's one of the Gen X members, sponsored the race. He does iRacing custom paints, and we actually ran one of them here tonight, where all 3 of us, our superhero cars, are all from Phantom Zone. So go check them out, guys.
And speaking of Phantom Zone, Cody, since you have led the most laps, actually congratulations on leading the most laps as well. The only time you lost the lead was when you went down pit road. That says a lot. So since you led the most laps, you will be getting a free custom design by Phantom Zone Design. So buddy, congratulations on your success tonight, and it definitely has paid off. I look forward to seeing you again next week at Martinsville. Have a good night.
You too, Sean. Thank you.
And that was tonight's race winner, 42 of Cody Miller, but right behind with 16 of Johnny Pierce. Get a cup there, Johnny.
I got you, sir.
How you doing tonight?
Oh, like been in Cody's shoes, it's been a little bit better. Second place is just the first loser. We just didn't have quite the car that we had at Texas. We'll go back to the drawing board. We'll get it right, and hopefully go into Martinsville with something a little better.
That's the spirit right there, Johnny. You didn't get it right today. If you didn't get it right today, you figure something out and get it right the next track, Martinsville. But yep, it was amazing seeing you here tonight. It was nice seeing you propel through this field and doing SimTech Racing Team. Very, very proud. Going from 9th place to 2nd place. Tell us about your race tonight, your green flag pit stops.
We had really good pit stops. We ended up actually made up a little time on Cody. I think I'd have to look at the replay, but I thought we kind of made up a little bit of time, and I thought, hey, maybe we might do something here, but it just wasn't happening. That thing was a rocket ship. We wasn't catching it.
Oh, most definitely. And John, tell us about your setup tonight, man. What were you packing into that hood? We noticed in Cody's case, he did talk about how he was getting loose in the beginning, but he ended up stabilizing in the long run.
Yeah, definitely. We set up. We were real loose at the start. I mean, this track just eats tires for breakfast, and so the car. We had to wait for the cars to come back in. But yeah, they were really tough to drive on the first couple of laps.
Oh, 10-4. That does make a lot of sense. But it was amazing seeing you adapt to that and pretty much have your machine do whatever you told it to do. And it was very responsive, and which made you very, very successful here tonight, going from 9th place once again to 2nd place doing SimTech Racing Team. Extra proud. And next week at Martinsville, what changes do you think you need to make to be successful?
Yeah, Gen X is just going to be hard to catch. I talked with Nick Rogers a little bit too, and Nick he's a great guy, and he can definitely build cars. And they definitely got the magic over there, and we're gonna keep pushing at them. we've talked to some other teams here, and it might be that we open up our garages to other teams, and we're going to get them.
Oh, that's the spirit right there, Johnny. That is exactly what we like to hear. Very determined. Your voice just shows us how determined you are, and that is exactly what we like. Well, buddy, before you go and final words.
All right, thank you.
And that was the 16 of Johnny Pierce, finishing in the second place position. Right behind him is another Gen X Racing driver, 43, of Steven Johnston. Get a cup there, Steve. Get a cup there, Steven.
Oh, yeah, I got you there. I'm sorry.
Oh, you good? How are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. It was a really good race.
Absolutely, man. It was an amazing race. It was nice seeing you set your machine up for the long run. Just about the first couple of laps between you and your teammate, 22 of Christian Swenson. We noticed you guys were batting a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it was real close, but, Christian just has the magic for this track, for the setup. I'm not Christian, Cody. Cody, my teammate Cody. He has the magic for this, and he's just amazing.
Absolutely, it was. He did definitely drive the wheels off that machine. And Steve, in the long run, we noticed you were fading away a little bit, but fading away to a point where you were still not losing too much time to Cody. At the same time, you were increasing the gap in between you and your opponents. In the beginning, there was the one of James O'Brien. How were you able to manage your machine in the long run so well?
I was able to just change. I was able to just change up the track, or change up my turn-ins and everything, and try to keep it at that. When we came out of the pits, Johnny got me out of the pits, and I was actually catching him. But as we came out of turn 4, a car got on the wall right in front of me, and I punched him. So my car started overheating. I had to start backing up. I think I could have got him in the long run, but without that.
Oh, most definitely. Yep, we do remember the incident where you made some contact with the lap machine up there after he got into the wall. And we actually still noticed, Steven, that despite you getting into the back of him, you were still gaining some time against the 16 of Johnny Pierce. Despite you saying your machine was overheating, you were still gaining some time against Johnny Pierce, which was very, very surprising and very, very impressive at the exact same time. And that was once again amazing to watch. Well, going into next race at Martinsville, what should we expect to see from you? What changes do you think you need to make in order to increase your chances?
I'm not good at all at building sets, and Nick is our set builder. Just follow Nick's lead there.
Oh, sounds like a plan. Well, Steven, congratulations on your success here tonight. I look forward to seeing you again next week at Martinsville Speedway doing Gen X Racing. Proud. Have a good night, buddy, and congratulations once again.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. And I'd like to give a real quick shout out to a good friend of mine, Brian Willard. He's following this. He's a good friend of mine in Australia, and he's been watching this broadcast.
And that would be Brian Willard, correct?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Well, that was Steven Johnston in third place, and that rounds up the interviews. Cody Miller first, Johnny Pierce second, and Steven Johnston third, 1 through 3rd respectively. We have 1 SimTech Racing driver and 2 Gen X Racing drivers, 1st through 3rd. Dave, that was an amazing race, and ladies and gentlemen, we do hope that you guys enjoyed the show tonight. No cautions, green flag, pit stops, a lot of side-by-side action, and what more can you ask for? And next week we'll be traveling to Martinsville Speedway for the Smash-A-Rama 200 by Austin Moore. Any final words there, Dave?
I'm just in awe. Just great racing all together here at the American iRacing Sunday Series. Just overall great action. Couldn't ask for anything better.
And ladies and gentlemen, once again, thank you for joining us for the Phantom Zone Designs, brought to you by PhantomZoneDesigns.com. Phantom Zone Designs sells pre-made, creatively designed paints at low prices that you can customize by having them add your logos at no additional cost. To learn more, just visit PhantomZoneDesigns.com. That is PhantomZoneDesigns.com. And tonight they were offering a free custom design to the driver who led the most laps, and in this case it was tonight's race winner, the 42 of Cody Knapmiller. So Cody will be receiving a free custom design. And once again, that is phantomzonedesigns.com. Our next race is going to be next week, the exact same time next week, Sunday, at Martinsville Speedway for round number 3, entitled Smash a Rama 200 by Austin Moore, one of the admins here at the Precision Racing League American iRacing Sunday Series. And the next broadcast is going to be tomorrow night with the Extreme Motorsports 99 Pro Can-Am Series entitled the Fred's Pharmacy 250 at Talladega Super Speedway. I am Sean Zulu, and Dave Everly behind the cameras. I want to thank Jerome Bethome and all the officials here at the Precision Racing League for having Dre Broadcasting on board. I also want to thank iRacing for having Dre Broadcasting on board the action train on the iRacing live portal. I also want to thank you viewers out there. Without you guys, we are nothing. And if you are new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you get notified every single time we go live, because we are live 6 nights a week, and you guys are kept fed every single time. So I want to thank Phantom Zone Designs for sponsoring tonight's race. Check them out at phantomzonedesigns.com. I am Sean Zulu and Dave Everly behind the cameras, and have a good night. Thanks for watching.